Going. Oh, that did. Okay. That did its thing. It's going. Well, monkey butt. You ready? You were so, done, aren't you? Oh, you hear the big dog coming. Alright, so, one of these. Bam. Holy shit, what was that? If you're gonna spew, spew in my hat. Okay, so, welcome to Houston with a Problem, Livecast 121. We got some weird stuff going on. Lots of weird stuff. Yesterday? Was it yesterday? The SEC warned that everyone should hold on to their butts. They should hold their margins close and to worry about volatility in the national markets. BlackRock did lose $17 billion on the Russian investments. Another $120 billion in defaults are coming, so people are going to do a bunch of write-offs. Ken Griffin is trying to buy the Chelsea Football Club, sold by Abramoff, a Russian oligarch. My guess is so he can hold it close for his clients, right? Because he's got a bunch of Russian oligarchs as clients, for sure. And what else, big dog? Ryan Cohen's come out swinging. His gag order is over, and he's coming for the shorts with his tweets. He's not just tweeting emojis now. It's full-on sentences. They're basically just big, giant FUs to everybody. Adam Aaron announced that AMC bought a 22% interest in a mine in Nevada. At first, I was like, cool, diversification, awesome. Why not have other revenue sources? And then realized that it isn't a revenue source. It is a giant money pit. The operations of the mine have not begun. The company's gone bankrupt twice. And they announced within minutes of Adam Aaron announcing AMC's investment that they're going to be diluting the float significantly to try and raise capital. For a mine that size, they're going to have to invest upwards of $1 billion to get that thing running. And it's going to take 5 years or more. And that is if, they don't go bankrupt again in the meantime. Now, HYMC is a heavily shorted company. They've been shorted like crazy. Mudrick Capital's involved. They own 40% of the company. If they can get their shit together, they can definitely produce gold. But the yield's really small. It's like fifth of an ounce, maybe smaller. Smaller than fifth of an ounce. It's like a sixth of an ounce per ton, which is really low yield, especially for a big cyanide leach mine like that. I'm afraid that they're stuck in a debt spiral where they have to keep issuing shares to pay for expenditures, issue more shares. Eventually, the share price just gets pummeled down to nothing. So that's kind of where we're sitting there. And what else do I want to talk about? Oh, apparently there's FSB documents leaked and translated yesterday that showed that Putin has full-on intentions of invading NATO member states on his borders as sort of a don't mess with me kind of thing. At this point, U.S. intelligence is reporting that 75% of the Russian military is currently engaged in Ukraine, which tells me that they don't have the punch to do much else. It appears they're trying to do a land invasion in Odessa with amphibious ships. Russia has never done a land invasion in history. So the last time a land invasion was done via the ocean was in 1951 in Korea, and there was the element of surprise there. The land invasion is really gnarly. You just have to read about, just watch Saving Private Ryan. Land invasions with amphibious ships is one of the gnarliest, most brutal things in war. Has not been successful many times in history without just overwhelming force on the side of the invaders. Things are going to get ugly, going to get really ugly. Did I have anything else I was going to talk about in there? AMC. I think we got it. Okay, so there's a few super chats right off the bat here, so I'm going to try and get those taken care of before I jump in the main chat. We got Bill Coyne, think big picture. Trillions of stimulus money is still in the pipeline. Shutting it off will have no effect on the economy until 2023. Man, we probably will need to have stimulus of some kind. I think everyone's trying to like hold back on their trigger fingers until this market goes womp. Oh, shoot, the other thing I forgot to include in there is that they're going to be doing a 1/4 point raise on interest rates. They'll probably be shooting for 3% for the federal rates by fall, be my guess. So we might see some bigger rate rises over the next 7-8 months. Yeah, because inflation is becoming a problem, and we don't want rates to raise like they did in the 80s to like the 20% range that basically shut off consumer spending entirely. People stopped buying houses and cars, and everything just sort of flatlined. But it did set up for economic boom 5-6 years later when they're able to lower interest rates again down to reasonable numbers, and investment exploded for the next 30 years. We're probably trying to hold off on that. But my guess is right now that the plunge protection team was already injecting trillions of stimulus into the markets themselves, just not to the people like us. They're doing it. They're probably just purchasing and holding securities like crazy, trying to keep the market from collapsing under all this weirdness that's going on. Let's see here. We got Space Monkey. Happy birthday. Hope mom is well. She's doing very well. Although she's asked me to like keep hanging out and making sure she doesn't fall over for another week. So we'll be navigating that. What's the difference between a comet, an asteroid, a centaur, a Jupiter Trojan, and a Ceres? Okay. Man, okay. A comet is a big giant ball of ice. An asteroid is a rock or hunk of metal. So basically, comets made of volatiles, CO2, water, ammonia, methane, things like that. Where an asteroid is made up of rocks and metals. A centaur is a comet that acts like an asteroid. Usually orbit the sun at about the distance between Jupiter and Neptune. So inside the solar system, they're orbiting the sun, and they're just stuck out there, not evaporating because they never make it close to the sun. Sort of like an asteroid in the asteroid belt. A Jupiter Trojan is an asteroid that's stuck in a Lagrange point with Jupiter. So as Jupiter orbits the sun, there's a bunch of asteroids before it and after it, about 1/3 of an orbit away, that orbit with it. So as Jupiter goes around, they're stuck in that Lagrange point orbiting the sun at the exact same rate. And then Ceres was the first asteroid discovered. It is a planetoid, a dwarf planet. It's round. It's inside the asteroid belt. We don't consider it a planet because it did not clear all the material in the asteroid belt to make a larger planet. But it's I don't know, 500 kilometers across, something like that. It's a decent size. But it's round. It's a big round rock that's sitting out there. There's a couple of them that are fairly round in the asteroid belt. If you took all the asteroids in the asteroid belt and smushed them together, you would get something that was like, I don't know, 1/80th the mass of the Earth. So it wouldn't make a very big planet to begin with. Did I answer all those questions? I hope so. Did asteroid, centaur, Jupiter Trojan, and Ceres. Boom. All right. Casey Chapman, where'd you go? There you are. What's up, Houston? Do you think the PPT is keeping the market, funds production team right there, is keeping the market afloat right now? If so, what do you think their rationale for prolonging this crash? Yeah, I think they're definitely keeping the market afloat. They will not let the SPY dip anywhere near what other indexes for other markets have been doing around the world. So it's definitely I think it's almost certain. A year or two from now, we'll get some sort of report saying like, oh yeah, the plunge protection team dumped like $10 trillion in the market or something. They're trying to keep their banks afloat, their members afloat, and because everybody sees just how much margin there is out there. Margin has exploded. Have you guys seen? Have I shown the graph recently? Margin investment by year. So that's December 20. Ooh. Okay, I want global margin. Maybe that's what I should do. Global margin by year. Not profit margins. Man, I don't know how to search for this. maybe this one will be it. This is FINRA. Let's see what they have to say for us. Boom. Okay. Okay, so margin has gone up. Oh, it was higher for a number of counts, that margin back in August. But January, you can see how much it's exploded. So January 20 to August 20 almost doubled the number of accounts trading on margin in U.S. markets. And that's significantly higher. It was fairly steady for a decade. It has just exploded recently. And my guess is the numbers we're seeing drop off now all of a sudden since August, at that peak in August, or October, damn. It's only gone up. So we probably saw, because the SPY took a dip, some people get eviscerated between January and February. That small investors got margin called. But overall, globally, margin, I think in 2020 alone, margin almost doubled globally. Went from, 500 billion to $1 trillion in margin globally. And I bet it's way higher than that now. It's probably 2021 that spent so much time trying to hammer these stocks down that I bet globally margin has just exploded. Now, I wish I could find the graph for that. Where would be... Maybe margin data. Here, this might be it. PDF. Could take a second. Okay. March 2nd, 2022. Give me... Oh, there it is. Here we go. Yeah. Look at that margin debt. So, it plunged when the market took a shit in March of 2020, and it's just exploded over the years. We had a big increase during the dot-com bubble, a big increase going up to the housing bubble, and then it's just been giant ever since then. So we're at 853 billion in margin debt, and that is just FINRA data going up to probably March 2022 or so. As a percent of Wilshire 5000 index. So as a percent of the index value, margin debt is down, but overall dollar value margin is way up. So, so this is a bunch of folks getting vaporized, I think, trying to clear their margin or hide their obligations there. But amount of margin debt is just exploded. It's crazy how much fake money is trading out there. So, oh fuck, goddamn, fucking Jesus, girl. I did it four shows in a row. I had made it 4 shows. Restart the clock, I guess. Been 0 days since an intro accident. Let me turn it off. Remember, turn it off, you butthole. Okay. Punch protection team question. Scrolling down. The Oat Milk Man. Still most threatening name I think I've ever seen on here. Are there any books that you would recommend to learn about precious stones? Somebody gave me a bunch of stones and I don't know what to do with them. Oh man. If you like reading boring if you like reading boring reference books, you cannot go wrong with either the Audubon Society's Book of Minerals, or this is Simon Schuster one. Simon Schuster's Rock and Mineral Guide. Lots of pictures, lots of explanations. I think the Audubon one does it starts off a bunch of pictures and then it goes into sections of detail, and it will tell you a bit more about locations where you can find this stuff. And then beyond that, I recommend mindat.org. I'm going to type this into the chat here. You can look at maps and it gives you databases of where claims have been struck, where rocks currently getting mined, previous mineralization finds. Mindat.org. Through in the chat there. If you're curious about anything like in your neighborhood, you can literally type in a state. It'll show you a map. You can zoom in on your county, and it'll show you anywhere that rocks have been reported to be discovered. And granted, there are some places people find stuff, they don't report it, so, that goes there. But it's pretty rad. Like, I recommend that. And then, like, the internet's awesome for this stuff. So you read your book, you look at the pictures, you get the idea about things. Go to the Wikipedia pages on specific minerals. They do some of those articles are incredibly in depth. And all I have to do is just follow the footnotes. Like, oh, okay, this citation here, blah, 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 talks about mineral discovery of alexandrite in the Ural Mountains or something in 1858 or whatever it was. And you can learn about like how the trade went on. It's pretty cool stuff. And then you'll learn about other locations where it's been found, where it's been exploited, how much it's worth, famous ones that are sold, stuff like that. You can definitely jump in there and just absorb all sorts of information. Okay. Tom Zock E. Greetings from Germany. Some media reports explosions in Belarus, possible coup or false flag in the last 3 hours. 30 jets took off. What do you think? Holy shit, I did not hear about that. It's nighttime in Belarus. Right, it's nighttime for you guys. So, morning is about 5 hours away. So this is the time people are going to be doing bombing runs. Belarus. Bombing. So, Ukraine mounts counteroffensive, drive Russians to Kiev. Biden calls Putin war criminal. Let's go news. Ukrainians accused Belarus attack, meant to push Belarus. That's 4 days ago. Nothing popping up. Heavy bombing Wednesday. Wait, what's this? This is from 4 minutes ago. 1 minute ago. All right. 1 minute ago, Zelensky advisor claims Ukrainian forces are starting a counterstrike on Russian invaders, which I think that they're trying to do before those amphibious assault vehicles make their way to the beach near Odessa. I mean, Putin opening up another front is silly. He's already got a bunch of fronts he's stalled on, and now he wants to open up another one without any... yeah, okay, 20 minutes ago, mayor's freed, prison swap. There's something about Belarus here, so let's do Control F and go Belarus. He didn't Control F. Control F. There you go. Belarus. Belarusian aircraft. That's all there is? Nothing happened here on the CNN page? Okay. Well, I'm not hearing anything else about what's going on. Nothing's popping up in the news, man. Explosions? No, nothing popping up. So I don't know, Tom Zock. I'm not seeing anything yet. Twitter is usually faster, and if I didn't see it pop up on Twitter, I won't see it again until I'm done with the show. But there were rumors popping up last night. So it was Poland, Slovakia, and Slovenia? No. Czech Republic, Slovakia, and Polish PMs were in Kiev. I keep trying to say Kiev. We're in Kiev yesterday, meeting with Zelensky and other leaders. And there were rumors saying that they were willing to enter the fray. I've been thinking that if they do anything, they would enter Belarus and take out Belarus because people are just sick of Lukashenko. So that might, if that's happening, that's probably where they're going to go. Just eliminate that target and get that out of the way. And I think the Belarusian people would be like, "Woo, thank you." They want that guy out of there too. Okay. And did I miss one? There's Tom Zox. Peak of Power, thank you for the black cat. I don't know where my black cat is. He's probably hanging out with my roommate. And Bill Coin, Citadel owns most of the gold mine. AMC used less than 2% of cash to buy in. Something up, but what? Citadel? I thought it was Mudrick. Mudrick owns most of the gold mine, or owns 40% of the gold mine. Not Citadel. But Mudrick is also a squirrely short hedge fund who, gave a $100 million loan to AMC to save them. That was convertible bonds, and got a bunch of stock and dumped it. And then in June of last year, while the stock price was rocketing, end of May or beginning of June, AMC sold 11 million shares in the dark pool to Mudrick, who then turned around and dumped them. So I don't know. It just seems so squirrely. Such a weird investment. Oh, it's big dogs all over the place. It's weird. Like, there are gold mines that are operational that you can invest in. Speculative mines that wouldn't have a payoff for at least 5 years, who've been attacked by short hedge funds. I mean, it could be, there's a theory popped up yet last night, someone saying that this might be the equivalent of these CEOs wearing a wire for the Department of Justice. Like, they go in, make huge purchases of Bed Bath & Beyond and of HYMC, and then the Department of Justice looks at who trades what and how they suppress this price. Because both of them, they announce like, hey, we bought this stuff, and then pre-market, the price more than doubles, and then basically it open collapses again. Both times. Which is very weird behavior. So, I think we'll wait and see. I'm just very suspect of investing in, like, I'm somebody who goes and looks for minerals because A, it's one of my career choice, and B, it's fun. But operating a mine sucks. It is a lot of work. It can take hundreds of millions or billions of dollars just to start digging your first hole. The giant Caterpillar mining truck that Adam Aaron posted this picture next to is basically 5 to 10% of the entire market capital of that entire company is that one truck. So, you got a $5 million truck. Cool. It is so expensive to open large scale mine, especially a big cyanide leach pit mine that's basically, you take these sands that are there. That's the load, is in these like weird sand rock stuff, and it's very small flour gold, and it's not very much per ton. And you put them in the giant trucks. Dump them into a cyanide leach pit. The cyanide eats away everything and leaves behind the gold, and then you filter all that goo into another system that would probably be acid baths, like nitric acid, and to get the silver out, and then you do like aqua regia acid to purify the gold, and it'd be a whole process of oxidizers and acids to like pull out various metals and impurities along the way. And for a mine like that, just to build a mill to handle that stuff is going to be in the tens or hundreds of millions of dollars, let alone the excavators and dump trucks and stamps and all, and the cyanide leach pits and the environmental impact statements, and it is really, really, really expensive. So if this company has raised a bunch of capital, lost all that capital twice, and now they're trying to raise a third time just to get this mine started, oof, that's rough. I mean, they've got 15 to 30 billion in gold, and was it 600 million ounces? Is that right? It's about $25 an ounce. Bring up the calculator here. Go like that. Okay, so gold trading more or less 2,000 an ounce. So we got 15 million ounces times 2,000 an ounce. Yeah, we're at $30 billion in gold. Cool, that's in the reserves. We've got 600 million ounces of silver at $25 an ounce. So we've got another 15 billion in silver. So we got $45 billion in minerals in the proven load. They're going to need $1 billion or so just to start digging, and then operational costs after that. That's a lot of money to raise, and a lot of investors don't like spending that much money for a startup. So getting mines going can be really hard sometimes. But, $45 billion in minerals, if you can do it somewhat efficiently, you have to get the biggest trucks possible, especially if you're only at 5 grams per ton, which is what they have for gold. And silver would be essentially half that in value. So, if you got 5 grams, let's do some more math. 5 divided by 28. It's 17% of an ounce. So you're at $357 per ton is we're going to get out in gold. And if the value of silver is half of that, times 1.5, you get $535 per ton. It's fairly doable if prices, especially if prices go up. But remember, you got one of these giant trucks, right? How many tons can the big Caterpillar, was it 17Ds or whatever? Caterpillar. Uh, 79F, 400 ton. Okay. So the 797F 400 ton truck is $3 to $5 million for that truck. It's got a 4,000 horsepower engine. Damn. It can do 400 tons per haul. So 400 tons times 400. So each time you haul ore in this truck, if we can bring the truck up here for real quick, one of these big guys, you're gonna have about $200,000 in minerals inside that truck, which is a lot. That's a boatload. Okay, but now you've got to stamp it all. Got to pound it into fine grains. Then you got to put it in the leach pit. Then you got to do all the refinement and blah 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 blah. And that stuff takes a long time. And the people who drive these trucks, they make a pretty darn good living. Strip mines are going to be cheaper than normal hole in the wall cave load mines, because it takes less people and you can do it with larger equipment. You can move more material. Man, you'll be cutting it close. Once they can start operating, they'll probably be producing gold like crazy, but it's going to take a while to get there. So, yeah. So, the big excavators be filling those things. What would be the excavator that would fill one of those? I can't remember the name of them. Caterpillar. Mining excavator. Yeah. One of the big boys. Give me the big boys. Give me the big boys. Yeah, one of these guys. 67 ton. So you're looking at 8 scoops to drop into one of these guys. One of these suckers is, all right, 660. Caterpillar 660 price. Oh, can't spell. Well, just shy of 2 million. Not too bad. Okay. So for 5 to 7 million, you get a setup, get a pair truck and one of those guys. All right, then you gotta blow everything up. You can't just like scoop it out of the wall. You gotta have all your explosions going. So you got your ammonium nitrates and TNTs and whatnot. At 5 grams per ton, get big enough equipment, it might be profitable. But man, it's gonna be a couple years until then. Yeah. Okay. All right. Okay. Did I get them all? Oh, Space Monkey. Great second intro. Means we don't squeeze. Sorry, Space Monkey. I'll try to be better and remember to turn off my intro. Man, okay. So here we are, half an hour into the show, and I'm already 50 minutes behind the questions. Okay. Just in my head, 6 magnitude earthquake in southern Iran. Could underground nuke test cause that? No, underground nuke test would be smaller than that. Underground nuke test would be like a 2 or a 3. Japan had a 7.3 off the coast. There was tsunami warnings earlier. But no tsunami happened, so good, yay. Probably a shallow fault that's not a subduction fault caused that earthquake. Matt Arnold, thank you for the super chat there, Matt. I appreciate it greatly. Okay. Greg Mathis, Houston, I was checking out our MetaMap forum. Somebody says you have a brother who works at Metamaterial. Yes, he's an engineer there, head of production. Let's see here. Japan earthquake. Greg says June 3rd, when Biden's executive order runs out, I think they finally let it go. And when we crash the financial system, they will have somebody to blame it on. What executive order? I don't know what executive order that would be on the 3rd of June that expires. What would that order be, Monkey? You're giving me the look of you want to go under a blanket. Okay. Sorry. Blanket look. She's giving me that blanket look. There you go. All right, big dog. For the next 6 months, you're just going to see this thing doughy-eyed looking at me while I do my shows. Yes. Oh, yes. Not much going on in there, is there? No. Okay. Long-time listener, first-time caller. Forced fire. I'm seeing that prime brokers just stalled or straight up didn't margin call anyone on the nickel squeeze. Can you explain how that is going to be different than GME meme squeeze potentially? The nickel squeeze seems very strange. So the London Metals Exchange, which is one of the larger commodities exchanges on Earth, they had a giant squeeze play. Everyone smelled blood in the water because 7% of the nickel access in the world, nickel supplier in the world is Russia, and they got cut out of the market. And I guess one of the largest nickel traders in the entire world, based out of Hong Kong, had shorted the entire nickel market. And my guess is that they're guessing that the market's going to take a shit. And if the market takes a shit, base metals always drop in value because consumer spending drops with it, and the request to manufacture things also drop. And if that's the case, then the prices for copper and zinc and nickel will drop with it. Now, I don't think this play they did counted on Russia invading Ukraine and then resulting in a giant sanctions on Russia by basically the entire international community, which will halt their nickel prices from their nickel exports from going anywhere. So as a result, people panic bought nickel futures, and the price went from like 35,000 per ton to 100,000 per ton in like an hour. I think it went from 87,000 to 100,000 in just a couple of minutes. And this caused the London Metals Exchange to basically shut everything down. I think the large problem was more futures. Big dog, hush. More futures were being sold than there was nickel available. So London Futures Market said, nope, we're stopping it because you guys are selling futures on nickel that does not exist and will not exist. And then they reversed those orders. They said, we're canceling everything. Everyone gets their money back. Stop it. And then they closed the exchange, trying to figure out, I think they're trying to balance the books, figure out, okay, how much nickel actually is there, leaving what is existing can trade. And then they opened their market again yesterday for about a minute and 30 seconds, and the price skyrocketed again. They closed it down. They said there was a glitch in the parameters they'd entered. Basically, I guess they put a floor and a ceiling on the prices, and that did nothing. So it blew out past that. Now, where'd that question go? And that's the nickel question. I just lost it. Sorry. I was going to... before... Okay. Nickel question. Where'd you go? Forest fire. There we go. And how's it different than a GME squeeze? Well, it's still a squeeze. There's still a limited amount of nickel available, and so many folks who need it. So you get a supply and demand issue there, and this giant nickel trader who is counting on the demand to plummet is really underwater. Underwater to the tune of they're losing like $2 billion a day. Now, apparently JP Morgan is who has the liability of the margin for, Mr. Big Nickel in Hong Kong. And rather than margin call them, they're offering a giant loan to keep them afloat. And Mr. Nickel still wants to short it all. He's still convinced that this play is going to collapse and the price is going to drop and they're going to make a fortune. They just need to get over this hump. So they're planning for the price to be here and the price has been above it. And what they wanted was everything to dip and they meet it and they make a fortune. But what happened was they're going along, the price went like this. And they're telling JP Morgan hey man, you just let us play a little longer, it's going to drop. And JP Morgan is like, well, we're either out $2 billion a day now, or we give you a giant loan and we'll be out that $2 billion a day later, plus this loan. Which one do we have a chance of surviving? And I think they're betting on that prices will drop eventually. So they're going to try and keep them afloat. But it's a really risky play, man. You can lose that giant loan that's equivalent to $2 billion a day while this play goes on, or just lose the $2 billion a day. It's interesting. And I think most of these margin calls aren't happening because the amount of liability is so huge that no one can do anything about it. Basically, everyone's just going to get vaporized. They're going to wait and wait and wait and wait and wait and wait and wait, and it's just going to go poof, and nobody will exist anymore. It'll just be I don't know. It'll just be small little neighborhood banks with the only thing in existence because they aren't doing margin for anybody. Okay, I missed 3 super chats while I was. All right, Matt Arnold, Monty, did you talk about the potential Russian default that Citadel is involved in? Yeah, apparently Citadel has lots of liability. CNBC posted a little Chiron yesterday about Citadel and Sasquatch. Who was it? Who was the other one? Yevpaya? I can't remember. I'm always asking Monkey Butt under a blanket if she can remind me, but she never tells me what I just read. Citadel is facing huge liabilities on Russian companies that now basically don't exist anymore and can't trade. 120 billion minimum is just the bonds that are going to be defaulted on that everyone's going to have to write off. That does not count investments into Russian companies that trade. Airlines, oil companies, gas companies, manufacturers, internet companies, you name it. There's a lot. There's a lot. Matt Arnold, hey, can you please pull up the SEC for filing for transparency for all to see and clear up once and for all when it will be implemented? Love the show. Okay. This is the transparency for shorts, right? What was the number? SEC transparency rule. Short sale disclosure rule. This one. Yeah. Okay, where is... It's from February. Give me the actual rule. Fact sheet propose. Short sale disclosure rule. There we go. Just the one that's 130 pages. Okay, that's still downloading. Give it a sec here. 218 pages. All right. If I remember correctly, it's page 138. But we will... where is there? Nope. It's not there anymore. Okay. Years? Recent years. Boom. 13 years, 5 years. Here we go. Okay. Here's 138. Okay. Compliance costs, may measure like investors. Releasing the aggregate proposed shows potential to reveal some information short sellers may be acquired. Where was it? Might be the previous version that had that. Maybe they put a new version out that doesn't. Put enforced? Nope. not that one. What was the keyword that I found before? Additionally, threshold may protect short sellers. Contrast. Oops, I'm showing you guys what I'm reading here. Sorry about that. There we go. Now it's up. This is where a producer would just hit a button and then automatically be on the screen, and I just one-man show. Where 36 months maybe? Nope. Where is... It's got to be. Years is only mentioned 4 times in 218 pages. 210, yeah. 13 years since that was implemented. Seriously, where are you? 82 to 5 years. Okay. Well-known short seller Gabe Plotkin testified his firm had built and maintained a short position gains up over 5 years. That's not what I'm looking for. I'm looking for the enforcement rule. Crap. Well, it's 218 pages. So, it may take us a while to find out when it would go effective. Insert 30 days after date of publication for the registrar, which is 60 days after issuance, whichever is later. So that is when the rule will get enacted. I want to know about enforcement or adherence or rulemaking. I'm not going to be able to go through 218 pages in any meaningful time on this. But I think it's very possible. Introduction, background, proposed rule, proposed forms for show, application, request comments, proposed amendments, proposed amendment cat, economic analysis, regulatory flexibility. Well, go regulatory flexibility, go to page 199. Oops, wrong one. 200. Okay. Oh, stop. Come back to regulatory flexibility. Okay. So you get impact. Small entities. Blah, blah, blah. Managers. Mission, please. Proposed definition would help. Include category addressed. Common. Total assets 5 million. Okay. Okay, so basically it's going to apply only to big guys that have $5-10 million value. You and I would not qualify for that if we decide to short something. Although your broker may be required to report their shorts. Matt, this may take a long time to find where it was. And the previous version I read was, I think it was on like page 138. It was from the time it gets approved to when it would be enforced would be 3 years. But I don't know. I can't find that now. Oops. And let me try 3. Okay. The commenters, 3 largest markets, 3 groups, 3 major vendors, 3 weeks, 3%. I'm not seeing it in there. All right, Matt. I can't find it. No one wants to spend the show with me scrolling through 218 pages trying to find where the framework is for that. Where is everybody? Hey, big dog. Come on. I don't know what you're doing all the time. Whatever it is, it ain't no good, right? Okay. Rick Witt has, how do you say that? Silent P? Rick with a silent P. I was like, Rick Witt has Leant? Rick with silent P. Thanks for entertainment. There you go. Fork Power Outlet, Executive Order 13959, November 12th, 2020. So this is a Trump executive order that went in. Control C. Go back to there. Yes, big dog. Okay. Control V. Whoa. So, threat from securities investment that finance communist and Chinese military? Huh? What we got? What we got, big dog? Okay, addressing the threat from securities investments that finance communist Chinese military companies. Okay. So, I don't know. Prohibitions. This one expires in June? 13959? 13959. I don't know. I don't see an expiration date. So start date January 11th of last year. What are you doing? Why are you resetting on me? Let's go back to there. Let's go to, oops. Hey, get your face out of there, man. You're pushing buttons and you're messing me up. Nope, don't put your face on that. Don't put your face on that. June. Nothing about June. Okay, I don't think it's that one. Fork and Power Outlet, which is a great name, by the way. I don't think it's that one. Oh. Oh, download the whole giant. Okay, I don't want you. Go away. Yes. Yeah, go away. Okay. Don't. Oh, why are you trying to do updates on me? Just close. Just close. Close it. Close it. There we go. Okay. Where are we? Anything? Did I miss anything while I was staring at nothing? Okay. All right. That was forest fires. Now we're an hour behind in the chat, even though I'm only half an hour into the show. Everyone's asking how my mom's doing. My mom's doing very well. She's motoring around really well. She's able to put her socks on by herself, which is fantastic. I saw her pick something off the floor absentmindedly the other day. Jesse Lindsley, Executive Order 1359, stated that the holding of Chinese military bonds and securities would be prohibited and therefore the collateral would be worthless. Ah, that's what it's saying. Okay, thank you, James Lindsley. And that expires June 3rd. So, what happens June 3rd once all that stuff is allowed to be counted and it ends up being worthless anyway? I'll have to look into that. I don't know. That poses some weird questions. Initially took effect on January 28th of last year, during the squeeze, and delayed till May 28th until it was extended to June 3rd for 1 year. Oh, okay. So it hasn't taken effect yet. It takes effect in June. Okay. Took effect this past June and goes for a year until this June. Ah. Okay. So we have a bunch of bad Chinese debt, which I'm guessing is probably bad Chinese debt, that is prohibited to be collateral, so it's basically worthless. Then it's going to get added to everyone's coffers where it actually will be worthless, right? Okay. Okay. I'm going to have to look at Boss Blunt's studies on that because I have not researched that one at all. So, but thank you. Thank you for filling my brain with some wrinkles there. Okay. 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 Right? Okay. 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 Ed, do you think AMC will squeeze? Yes, but I also think the board is doing their darndest to keep that from happening. Honestly, as AMC shareholders, and we own 90% of the company, 85% of the company, whatever, we have the power to pick the board that runs that company. We can nominate anyone we want to be a member of that board and clean house. We can get rid of every single solitary executive and board member that is sus, and we can put our own people into that board to run that company. So I highly recommend going to the bylaws and articles of incorporation and seeing exactly how to nominate folks for the board, because the election would be June, right? That's when they do their yearly meeting. So that's when they would vote on re-upping members of the board. So do that. Nominate people. Get some apes in there. Ryan Cohen took a huge chunk in GME, and the first thing they did when he got on the board was clean house. They took out all the little hedge fund minions that were in there. And now my guess is he's trying to do the same with Bed Bath & Beyond, because we know that the hedge fund minions are in there, and they're in all these shorted companies. And their job is to destroy the company from within so that the stock price can go to zero and they can get giant bonuses while they do it. Nominate. If you are a shareholder, pick people to nominate for the board to take the role of anyone that seems rather suspect to you. Because we own the company, man. We can decide who does what. The people on the board sold off all their shares. They don't really have much voting power. Right? They sold 31 million insider shares since January last year. And that is a lot of voting power they don't have anymore to be able to remain on the board. And they just sold off all their interests. So why are they on the board to begin with? So there you go. Okay, did the gold mining thing. Andrew Stewart, did the military actions in Crimea and Syria go this badly for Russia? If not, what changed? Well, in Crimea, there wasn't much military action. They had a military base agreement with Ukraine to have bases there, and they sort of just spread out from the base and took over. Now, you'll hear people say, 97% of the Crimeans voted to be annexed by Russia. But Russia's own government accidentally leaked the actual vote tallies, which showed about 15% of the Crimeans actually voted to be annexed by Russia. They don't see themselves as Russians. They see themselves as, Tartars and Ukrainians. And now the Russians seem to be doing targeted apprehensions, detainments of ethnic Tartars, and they're doing squirrely stuff there. Syria was invited by Assad, and they're fighting peasants. It's one thing to attack a military that's got big boom booms and javelins and stingers and tanks and jets. It's another thing to fight a bunch of peasants with pitchforks that have basically improvised explosive devices and equipment they've been able to gather on the black market. It's conventional warfare is a lot scarier when it's conventional warfare against conventional warfare. When it's conventional warfare against peasants, it's a cakewalk. You just bomb them and you just stay above in the sky and go pew 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 pew. But if you have to actually get in the ground and face like actual conventional weapons, it's terrifying. Did you guys ever read the reports of the Russian mercenaries who just got absolutely cleaned by the American Special Forces? There's like 300 of them just got annihilated in Syria, and they were holed up somewhere and doing squirrely stuff. U.S. Special Forces went in and cleaned them out. And of course, Russians are like, those are just mercenaries. They're not Russians. They probably were. So Russia thinks they're prepared for conventional warfare, and we're seeing that they're not. They can fly high and drop bombs just like anyone can, but they don't have the logistics. Logistics is most important. An army runs on its stomach, and if you can't refuel vehicles and people, you lost. It's that simple. And if you're going to lose, if you are an invader in an urban environment, you're going to lose 6.5 soldiers for every one of the defender you take out. I don't think they're prepared for that. The Russian population is actually smaller than it was prior to World War II. they don't have the numbers, man, and it's an aging population that doesn't age that old. The death rate for males in Russia is really low due to poor health and drinking. No matter what's happening, it's just gonna be messy, dude. It's gonna be real messy. Okay, gold mining question. Javi Ace, intro off Houston. No, there's the there's the warning. So weird to see all stocks dip right as JPL was talking and then bounce right back. Yeah, it's really weird. It happened a lot with Greenspan, especially. Like Greenspan would be like, and the market go boing boing instantly. It was phenomenal. Okay. Cool. Bitcoin. Couldn't post a link. SEC ruling on reporting short sales monthly. See Charlie's vids. It's all good. Okay. So they're talking about doing a monthly report. I think the original rule, they're going to try to have them do it every 15 minutes, which I think would have been awesome. Just have a running candle for that going. Monthly seems a little squirrely to me because that gives them a lot of time to do lots of maneuvering before they have to do the reports. I would like it to be closer to real time. I mean, it should be anytime a position is changed, gets reported instantly is what I think should happen. Okay. Jason Blackwell, Houston, if shorts can't pay divvy for the Torchlight preferred shares, why have to buy the underlying metamaterial stock? Or did I understand something wrong? So Torchlight became metamaterial. So if you were short on Torchlight, you are now short on metamaterial. So if you can't pay the Torchlight preferred share, you get liquidated and you're forced to go buy the security that needs to be returned. And the security that needs to be returned is going to be metamaterial now. So that's why metamaterial would be a squeeze play in that respect. So if they can't pay the dividend, they're going to be forced to go buy metamaterial to pay back the synthetics that they borrowed, essentially. Okay. Is Wheat Wild? Jesus, is 20 minutes before the show has started. I bet it's going to take an hour at best to read this. Hope chat doesn't reset. We're exactly an hour. There you go. I'm at 6:28. I'm at 58 minutes there, Wheat Wild. Excellent prediction. Good job. Isn't it way past your bedtime out there? Okay. Say my name. Say it. What was the name of the battery company you talked about in the past? GMG. They're a graphene manufacturing group. GMGMF is their ticker. They're traded on one of the Toronto exchanges. I can't remember which one. TSX or something like that. And their factory's under construction. I haven't heard any updates recently. Let's see here. GMGMF factory. Ba-ba-bum. I just want to talk about. Okay, let me just go. GMG factory. Graphene manufacturing group. Let's see here. We haven't seen. Talk about where's your factory? Where's your factory? Give me news. Give me news. Give me news. There we go. Press releases probably. Doing collaboration. That was March. Graphene aluminum ion battery prototypes. Blah, blah, blah. Applications. Commences construction. So October 26th, they started construction. My guess is it'll be a year or more before construction is done. So maybe this time next year, their plant should be ready to go. Construction commenced. Commissioning expected November 2021. Got commercial prototypes. Lease location. They have an expected completion date. Commercial batteries targeted before the end of 2022. Okay. Nothing about when the factory is expected to be done. But it'll probably take a year or more. It's all special tooling. Graphene is one of the few modern inventions in the 20th century that's actually not just an improvement on previous stuff. It's hard. It's complicated. Not many people can make it. So, that tooling that Bosch is providing is probably very specific to do this stuff. And they're scaling like these tiny little laboratory stuff from the University of Queensland and trying to scale it up to large-scale manufacturing that can produce thousands of batteries a day. It's going to take a while. Okay. Barf Boo, do you think we'll get our MMTLP dividend before the end of summer? That would be awesome. Does anyone know the date of when they're expected to do the MMTLP talk? They said sometime this month they're going to have sort of investor discussion roundtable. And I'm sure they're going to be answering questions about that stuff. Oil's taken a big old plummet in the last week. Oil futures went... So peaked at 130 and then now we're bouncing around $99, which is still good for us. That still means a healthy dividend for that sale. Chakuseki, thoughts on earthquake near Fukushima today? The one that damaged the reactor in the past seemed orders of magnitude more intense. It's exactly orders of magnitude more intense. 900 times more powerful was the one that hit in 2011. But wondering how tsunami threshold that reactor can survive now. I don't think it can survive any tsunami threshold. I don't think they have walls big enough. So if there's an earthquake in a similar spot, I don't think it would survive. But you're not going to see another 9 point something anytime soon out there. It'll probably be hundreds of years before they get something of similar size happening along that fault in the same area. That stress has been released and it's got to build up over centuries before it does it again. Greg Mathis, happy birthday, Houston, and Freedom of Information Day. Happy National Artichoke Hearts Day. Happy National Everything You Do Is Right Day. Happy Panda Day. Happy Takedown Tobacco Day of Action. Okay, those are the international days of the 16th of March. Okay. Sitting Bull, honestly, how doesn't the DOJ not investigate this HYMC deal? Is that why Ryan tweeted so? I think Ryan tweeted in general that short hedge funds are morons and need to be investigated. But they'll do this same thing over and over again. If you make a mistake that makes you money, you'll be making that mistake over and over and over. These guys will do the same thing over and over and over until they're told to stop or made to stop. You can tell them to stop, and they'll if you don't do anything about it, they'll keep doing it. That's how humans work. We test defenses, and when we find something we can exploit, we will exploit it until it's closed. We will go through the path of least resistance, and these hedge funds have so much money that they can do that because it just makes them money over and over again, or it did until recently. Yeah. Okay. Greg Mathis, I'm stoked for tomorrow. Hope RC does an Oprah, does a day of gifts to shareholders. Waltz, effing Kenny and company. You get an NFT token, and you get an NFT token. I'm really hoping now that the gloves are off and his gag order is no longer applied, that there's going to be something going on. There's going to be something different going on tomorrow, and I'm very curious to see what it's going to be. Hubert Lee, happy birthday. Tell us, please, about Mel's Hole in Ellensburg, Washington. I don't know about Mel's Hole, I don't think. Let's look that up. Mel's Hole, Ellensburg, Washington. I'm curious. Mel's Hole. According to urban legend, allegedly bottomless pit near Ellensburg, claims it was first made in the radio show by himself. Okay, Mel's Hole. All right. Description. Legend of Bog's Hole started February 21st. I don't never hear of this. When a man identifying himself as Mel Waters appears as a guest in Coast to Coast AM with Art Bell, of course it's an Art Bell, and claimed that he owned a rural property 9 miles west of Ellensburg in Kittitas County. Miles west, okay, towards the foothills. Contained a mysterious hole. According to Waters, the hole had an unknown depth of at least 80,000 feet. That's a lot of feet. He claimed to have measured his depth using a fishing line and weight, although he still had not hit bottom by the time 80,000 feet of line had been used. He also claimed that his neighbor's dead dog had been seen alive sometime after it was thrown into the hole. Wow, okay. According to Waters, the hole's magical properties prompted U.S. federal agents to seize the land and fund his relocation to Australia. Waters made guest appearances on Bell's show 97, 2000, 2002. Rebroadcasts, blah, 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 blah. According to State Department of Natural Resources geologist Jack Powell, the hole does not exist and is geologically impossible. The hole at depth would collapse into itself under tremendous pressure and heat from the surrounding strata. And said Powell, it's an ordinary old mine shaft on the private property is probably inspiration for the stories. He commented that Mel's Hole had established itself as a legend based on no evidence at all. So, is there a picture of Mel's Hole? Images. Okay. Mel's Hole on YouTube. 2016. All right. Every single picture is different for Mel's Hole. This looks like a well. That doesn't look anything like Ellensburg. Okay. Mel's Hole information. That looks like a tree stump. I'm gonna have to go find Mel's Hole and see. Is that Mel's Hole? This looks more like Eastern Washington. This looks more like, okay. Get to the bottom of Mel's Hole. Okay. So it does exist. What is Mel's Hole? This 2012. It was once a mining shaft. Okay, there you go. 80,000 feet is quite impossible. That's, what? 15 miles? 16 miles? That's 16 miles, I think, is how the deep bore hole that the Soviets did, and the drill bits couldn't get any further. They just kept melting. The diamond drill bits would melt, and they couldn't get any further than that. So, won't reveal the exact location. Okay. Real hole in Ellensburg. That's likely inspiration. Okay, so the exact location is unknown, except for there's probably a likely mining shaft somewhere out there. Okay, all right. That's just a basically Wikipedia article all over again. So that's the first time I heard of Mel's Hole. So I learned just as much as you did on that one. Okay, Amy R. I love hanging out with you too. There you go. Houston, have you ever been to Maine? Yes, but I was so young I don't remember it. Technically, I've been there. My dad did a boat building school. He wanted to become a naval architect after being a regular architect and mechanical engineer. And he went to a boat building school, and I was just a wee little baby. So apparently we lived in Bangor for quite some time while my dad did that, and then we came back out here, and I don't think he designed any boats. I think he went back to doing regular architecture, if I remember correctly. Jimmy D, happy birthday. Do you think it's likely for Germany to end Cold War non-proliferation and mobilize a standing army to protect themselves and holding Ukraine? 100%, Jimmy D. I think that's exactly what Germany's going to end up doing. Now, everyone is very worried about militarization of both Germany and Japan. I think with current allyships and NATO governance and things like that the time of Nazi Germany has passed. I think there's more Nazis in the Russian military than there is in the German military at this point. But yeah, they're sending a bunch of weapons. They're already sending weapons to Ukraine. And yeah, I think it's definitely kind of ending. For sure. Okay. That's the whole question. Amy R. Dead bass. Or bass? Dead bass? Dead bass. Bass? Dead bass. Dead bass. Well, bass sounds like it could be dead. Dead bass sounds like killer baseline. Did Credit Suisse ever fully close Archegos positions? I believe I read they had not yet, but I can't remember the source. If so, does that have an implication on how long MOAST could last? Last I read, they had not. They were still sitting on $1 billion and change in Archegos positions they never closed out. That was a few months ago. Wonder... what would be the term position? Okay. The last reporting I'm seeing is from July. And a report showing that Archegos did not monitor very well. Okay. Credit Suisse sells $3.75 billion of debt amid Archegos problems. That's August of last year. Nothing new has been reported since last summer. So I have no idea if they closed out those positions or not. It must have been last summer when we were reading about they still were holding on to them. Yeah, because they lost $5.5 billion total on Archegos going under. So, it's a lot. That's a lot to deal with. BW brand, correct. Given a chance, bad positions are never closed. Exactly. All you have to do is look at the liabilities that still exist from mortgage-backed securities from Washington Mutual and Lehman Brothers and all those Wachovia, just banks and investment banks that don't exist anymore. They don't exist, and yet their liabilities have never been closed out. It's pretty crazy. Gary Del Vecchio. Norwegians refuse to fuel KGB yachts. Stick it to the oligarchs, and they'll make Putin pull out. And then the market will jump 20%. All right. Okay, I'm getting there. I'm only an hour and 15 minutes behind. Going through quite a few repeat questions here, so I'm scrolling. Riva Swine, Houston, happy birthday. Did you see Putin's speech where he essentially called out Russian oligarchs abroad as not true Russians? Could be a weird twist if he sees assets and consolidates power. Yeah, it's a very interesting speech because his mistress lives in Switzerland with his 4 children, and his daughter splits time between her mansion in France and her mansion in Dubai. So, I mean, all those oligarchs are doing exactly what Putin does, which is buys assets around the world. And Putin doesn't want to spend time in Russia. None of those guys do. It's no fun to spend your billions in Russia. Cool. 9 months of winter, 3 months of bugs. Woo! That's exactly where I want to spend my time. No, they want to go. They want to go to Bora Bora. They want to go to Dubai. They want to go to Paris. They want to go to, the Maldives and Seychelles, and they want to enjoy the good life. And the good life isn't really in Russia. No one who makes $1 billion wants to just be like, cool, I'm going to stay here. No. Russia's a place you survive, not thrive. And they, they want out. Putin wants out. That's why he wants to take over better places with nicer beaches. He wants to move west and wants to move south and be able to have mansions somewhere else. So he can speak all he wants, but if he alienates oligarchs, it just gives the oligarchs a bigger excuse to do something about it. I don't doubt that there's CIA ops running where they're going to oligarchs and saying, hey, buddy, we seized billions of dollars of your assets and you got nothing. Now, if you want your billions of dollars in assets, we need you to take care of Putin. Or get someone to take care of Putin. Or something. They're definitely having those conversations. And these guys are hosed. They took all their money out of Russia. So they don't really have any money left in Russia. It's all in accounts all over the world. They're now getting seized and they want access to. And their ships are getting seized. And their planes are getting seized. And their stocks are getting seized. And their homes are getting seized. They really are screwed. They're gonna be paupers before long. So yeah. Okay. Project Sun, familiar with Stanislav Petrov, averted nuclear catastrophe, refusing an order to fire a nuclear missile during the Cuban Missile Crisis. Yeah, that guy, he died last year, I thought. Absolute hero. He was like, I'm not doing that. Hopefully, there's people in silos and submarines around the world that will do the same thing. Like, yeah, I'm not pushing that button. So, and it's here. Yeah, if you guys look up Stanislav Petrov, it was a very tense situation. He was in a missile silo. He got the order to push the button and launch an ICBM. And he said, no, I'm not doing it. Apparently, the order was an error. It was generated by some sort of defense system as an error. So it's a good thing he didn't push that button. Gary Delvecchio, now that U.S. nickels are worth 7 to 8 cents, will there be a run on the banks? 75% copper, 25% nickel. I mean, I guess you can very cheaply mine our own currency to make some profits. Yeah, you just throw that sucker into nitric acids and then use various precipitates to pull that stuff out. I wonder if the investment of splitting the two will be worth it. That's a question. I have to look up the metallurgy of that to see how much it would cost to use the acids to split it apart and then recombine. Time. I mean, you're looking at probably 1, 2, 3 acid baths plus kilns. It'd be on a large scale too. I don't know if it'd be profitable yet. Might still, unless you have a giant bath. Well, let people do that. Different Lime, land invasions require enough bodies that they run out of bullets before you run out of me. Pretty much. That's why you never fight a land war in Southeast Asia, because they don't run out of people. Darren Orenke, Mr. Wade, is there any gold or precious stones that can be found near San Diego? Tons. San Diego County is one of the capitals of tourmaline. Some of the best tourmaline in the entire world, especially watermelon tourmaline, comes from San Diego County. There's pay to dig mines there, and you can probably find some places in federal lands where you can find some more. But yeah, tourmaline is definitely it is fantastic. Tourmaline, San Diego. Okay, let's go. Bam. No, shut up. Big dog, shut your pie hole, man. Hey, come on. Ugh. Going from a dog that never barks to one that barks all the time is just going to drive me up the wall. So we got Himalaya Tourmaline Mine, Mesa Grande, Gem Hill near Mount Palomar. Lots of beautiful gems. Let's see if we can get some cool looking San Diego. Here we go. Big watermelon tourmalines. These guys. They're pink and green. They're gorgeous. One like this. That's a pretty decent one. That's probably tens of carats. One of these guys. Polished. You're looking at close to $1,000 a carat. Beautiful stuff to be found there. Lots of not Paraiba. Paraiba are the ones with copper. Can't remember the name of the blue ones. Can you remember the name of the blue ones? I can't remember the name of the blue ones. Oh, big dog, don't. Oh, god damn it. Quit putting your chin on things. Yes, you're wonderful. But you keep putting your chin on the keyboard, and then blinky things happen, and Windows open, and the computer wants to shut down, and just stop. Just stop. Okay. Yeah, so lots of beautiful tourmalines come from there. That's the big stuff. There are metal mines also in that area, and gold, silver, copper. Not as plentiful. Most of the big mining was tourmaline back in the day. But these are like Himalaya Tourmaline Mine is a pay to dig place. So you drive out there and you pay them, I don't know, $50, and you can go dig as much as you want and live the life and pull out lots of good ones. There are lots of good stones to be found. There's a cool show 15 or so years ago that was on Travel Channel called Cash and Treasures with Kirsten Gum. And she was like a just television presenter who had no idea about rocks and minerals, but the producers would send her all over the world to go look for stuff. And it was like a little half-hour show, travel show, and she did a really great episode. I think she went to the Himalaya mine, and pulled out a stone that was worth $12,000, sold it. Getting it cut is the hard part. You got to find somebody to cut it or learn how to cut it yourself, and that takes a lot of time and effort. But if you can get a pro to do it, you can get a really nice stone out of places like this and have something to sell or keep or give to a loved one or whatever. But yeah, lots of good stuff out there. Matthew Hickman, is AMC a good squeeze play? It's good. I think it gets meh by the day. So I would with AMC. Like, I don't know. I don't feel the heart in it anymore. I was really stoked when it was running hard end of May, beginning of June. I was like, this is going to be the catalyst. This sucker's going to go to 150. That's going to put its market cap at insane levels, and there's going to be margin calls and liquidations. And then just stopped at 77. Went down after that. It's been getting just absolutely hammered ever since. And then seeing the board sell does not convince me that they're convinced. Selling, the CEO selling $40 million in his own stock options. I'm planning for my retirement, buddy. Like, you have enough to retire on. I mean, in 2020, their worst year on record, $4 billion in losses. He made more in cash bonuses, like 5 times more in cash bonuses that year than I would expect to earn in an entire lifetime. Like, how much more retirement do you have to plan for? If he took his cash bonuses from 2020, put it into a Vanguard, he would be making what, $500,000 a year off of that, just from the annuities. Like, come on, man, who can't live off of $500,000 a year? He got $21 million in bonuses and stock in 2020, the worst year they've ever had. And he's still selling, saying, I just got to sell a little bit more. I got to diversify and plan for my retirement. Then retire already. Like, just retire. If your head's not in the game and all you're thinking about is retirement, then fucking retire, man. Quit saying that every single sale is, I think we're retirement. You've got a retirement. You've got more than enough. Go retire. That's the way I see it. And I want fresh blood. I want fresh blood in the entire board of that company. And I want to see actual steps taken to destroy the shorts, to improve the company, pay off debt, and just make them what they should be. And yeah. Okay. Bee's Knees, what toys does Snoopy like? Happy birthday. I don't know. What toys do you like? You chewed on bones a little bit. I don't know if... I don't know what kind of toys you chew on. My sister did not give me anything. She did not give me anything whatsoever for you to play with. I think she just assumed that you would find things. I don't know. You mostly just stare at me. It's pretty much what he does. He just stares at me all day long. Just staring. Right? Just like you're doing now. Just staring. Just looking at me. He'll sit across the room and just stare at me. I don't know what's going on inside that dome. Basically, just stare at me until there's a noise of somebody moving around inside the house, then you bark your head off. And then you come back and stare at me some more. But whatever toys he gets, my guess is if he doesn't play with them, Monkey Butt will destroy them in no time. Because that's what she does. If she's not in her little cave of a blanket, she's destroying everything. Okay. Man. All right, we are sort of motoring along. Okay, I'm gonna do my thing where I scroll ahead, and if I'm sorry if you are in the middle of this chat. Oh, getting compliments on my shirt here. Yes, this is a Brooks Brothers shirt. I did not know Brooks Brothers made generic plaid shirts, but you know it's high quality because the pocket blends in seamlessly with the rest of the pattern. You got a shitty shirt that's like discount Ross when the pocket does not match seamlessly with the rest of the shirt, but that pocket is stealth. That's quality. This is Brooks Brothers all the way, baby. Okay. Bum, bum, bum. Michael Harrow, Houston, what happened to that 21 Armadillo asteroid? Yeah, so there was a funny headline that said asteroid the size of half a giraffe crashes offshore of Iceland. It was a couple days ago. So we have a couple early warning detection systems for monitoring asteroids. It starts with the Pan-STARRS telescope, which is in Maui. The Pan-STARRS telescope is 4 1-meter mirrors, and they do these very wide field views of the sky. Basically, just take pictures of the sky all night long, and then they have supercomputers layer the images on top of each other. So basically, you have image from say 3 months ago, an image from last night, and you lay them on top of each other, and you look for any of the dots, the stars that have moved. If anything has moved, it's probably a celestial body like an asteroid or a comet. And so what they do is if they see anything move, then they send the info to a human being who looks at it and says, oh, this is an object we know, or this is something new, or they check out, how it's moved, what its mass might be, things like that. And then they add it to the calculation of all the 300,000 known objects that orbit our sun and calculate if it's ever going to be a problem, like a near-Earth collision or whatever. So this was something that was seen basically within hours of when it was going to crash into it. So it was completely unseen until that point. And we saw it, calculated, like, oh crap, it's going to hit us. And then it hit just off of Iceland. It was the first one of these objects detected by this early warning system that's been set up all over the world to monitor the sky. The problem is, now, we can see the asteroids that are coming from the dark side, like nighttime side. We can't see the ones that are coming from the daytime side. We have no way of doing that. Radio telescopes won't be able to see them, and observational telescopes can't see during the day. So we can see half the sky and monitor half the things that might be coming. Is AstroRank still up? AstroRank.com. Yeah, it's still there. Okay. This is a fun site. Okay. This is from Planetary Resources, which was a space mining outfit funded by one of the Google guys. Can't remember which one. But they've got, they get data from some of these telescopes, and these are things that are layered. So these are human beings that can look for asteroids. So you can see on this image right here that no dots are moving. You don't see anything moving at all. So done marking, nothing in there. Here we go. We can look here and see nothing moving. At one time, I was responsible for like 15% of all the asteroids found. Some of them, the aperture might be wrong. So like this isn't something moving. It's just too dim to see, and then it brightens. So nothing moving in there. Again, nothing moving in there. Just getting dim and dark. If I do this and people aren't watching, I could find one in like 3 slides. But now that you guys are watching, it's going to be like 400 clicks before we see anything moving across the screen. Nothing moving there. Nothing moving there. Come on, man. Nope. Nope, you're just dimming out. There'd be variable stars in here as well. Nope, just dimming and darkening. When it moves, it's very pronounced. Nothing moving there. Come on. Give me a fun one. That's poor quality. That was terrible. Nothing moving. Oh. Tricking the eyes there. Nope, nothing moving. Come on, come on. I want people to see what it looks like when you get an asteroid. Nope, nothing moving there either. That's really poor quality. That one sucks. That one sucks too. No. Okay. Poor quality. Come on, give me some good ones. That's really poor quality. Someone did not focus this sucker. That is garbage. Nope, nothing moving. Come on, give me one. Give me one. For crying out loud, I'm going to spend like an hour here. I'm going to do this until I find one. Nothing moving. That's really poor quality. That is also poor quality. Come on. We're going to spend forever and nothing's going to happen. Wow, these are some really terrible ones they got lining up for me here. This is like the longest I've ever gone without finding one. Done marking. Nope. Nope, come on. That's garbage. Done. Give me one. Give me one. Just one. Just one. Just one little celestial object. That's all I need. Nothing moving still. Oh, it's taking forever. Nothing moving there. Nothing moving there. Nothing moving there. I'm going to spend like 10 years on this website and we're not going to find anything. This is like Twitch. You guys want to play Twitch and watch me do the astrorank.com? Try to find an asteroid? No. Dude. Nothing moving in there either. Oh, man. There we go. Boom, there's one. Ha! That's what it looks like. See that little guy moving? Ding dong, ding dong. Bam, right there in the middle. Okay, so then done marking, report, type in your email address, whatever, and then they'll give you credit or something eventually. But that's the first one I found in a long time because I haven't done this in a long time. But astrorank.com, you can find it. And they got cool stuff where, oh, sorry, I should go back here, where they show like, you know, this is essentially Earth's orbit and all the near-Earth objects in there. And what they also do is they calculate the value of the metals inside. So these are all near-Earth asteroids, and they calculate the metal gold content, what the value is. And we got things, you know, 86 billion, 669 million. There's stuff that's in the trillions, like Seleucus, is 33 trillion. 1998 KU2, $80 trillion in metals. Yeah, so value, estimated profit, if we were to use known technologies to go mine these things. Lots of profit to be made off of these suckers at today's prices. Granted, to capture one of these suckers, you collapse the entire global. So this is 4 trillion for 1986. You can click on it and it'll show you the orbit. So the idea is you look for these orbits that go close to the Earth and you capture it at that point. Or you get close to the Earth, you go stick everybody on it and they sit out there and they mine it for however many years it takes before it flies back and you dump all the ore. But $53 trillion for this guy. What's the biggest one? What would be the most expensive? There's some that are in the quadrillions also. Maybe have to go to the asteroid belt to get the quadrillion ones. Greater than 100 trillion for these guys. So basically they said, and profit for Orcus would be $100 trillion. So there's a boatload in this guy. So there you go. There you go. It's a fun little site. Did I miss anything? Go back. Stupid toys. Okay. All right. Snoopy's chewing on bones. He's a bone chewer. Oh, Monkey, you made an appearance. Hi. Yeah. Done with your blanket? Okay. I'm going to scroll ahead and get to some more up-to-date questions. I'm sorry if I skip your questions here. I just can't answer them all. There's not enough time in the day for me to answer all the questions that pop in here. So if I missed your question, 1,000 apologies. Hopefully you can ask it again and I'll see it here. Yeah. Okay, Oscar Enriquez, watch Taiwan. Another uncertainty is going to hit the market. So apparently, something got leaked that China is looking at a fall invasion of Taiwan. Where was that? Where did I see that? China fall invasion Taiwan. There you go. This is Newsweek piping it in here. Yeah, China planned Taiwan invasion in fall, alleged Russian intel leak. So this is from Russia leaking intel, which might be why one of the diplomats from China said the Ukrainian people were very strong and dedicated in their fight or whatever. So written by an FSB analyst. Oh, the wind of change. Okay, yeah. So this wind of change leak. If you guys didn't see, someone posted it to me yesterday. I retweeted it. The wind of change leak is quite incredible. If you read it, basically, there's like 6 steps to what Putin is planning, and one of those steps is invading, or at least attacking NATO countries, Poland, Estonia, Latvia, Lithuania, to get concessions out of the West that we won't bother them anymore. We'll let them do their thing. I don't think that's going to work out the way Putin envisions, namely because part of this plan was actually taking hold of Ukraine in 14 days, and Putin's military is bogged down in a way that no one else thought was going to happen. And Putin's army is just dilapidated jalopy. It's the Russian jalopy is trying to move its way into Ukraine and breaking down in the middle. So they're having to go to atrocity mode, which is bombing civilians, what they did in Grozny and Tbilisi. And that doesn't win anybody favors. All it does is piss off the world even more. And I don't think... conventional warfare with NATO, Russia gets its ass kicked. So Putin would have to resort to nuclear arms, and that is that giant question of, A, do the nuclear arms work, and B, if he gives that order, does someone somewhere along the chain of command go, no? Like, I wouldn't doubt if we start seeing money, hard currency flow in to various parts of the Russian military to disobey orders. I mean, you're a major or a captain somewhere along that chain of command, and you are in command of someone pushing buttons, and an operative or an oligarch or someone says, "Hey, you refuse that order, I'll give you $10 million." Okay. You're not pushing that button. You're going to go live the good life. Bee's Knees, please spill your guts on what you know about Black Dragon. This was a group, Black Dragon. I invested in them hoping there'd be a pop, and there was a little pop, and then I didn't sell. I thought it was going to go higher, but it didn't, and I backed down to where I bought. They offered a crypto dividend back in July or August. I missed the date for the crypto dividend, but I bought afterwards at 2/10,000ths of a dollar. And it went up to 8 or 9, I think, 10,000ths. So it went up 4 times in value. And I didn't sell. I thought, this thing was gonna go a little bit higher, and it didn't. It went right back down to 2/10ths. So I haven't lost anything on it, but it's just been sitting there not making me anything. But I don't know about they're a software company of some kind. They're a basement, what do you call it? Seller pinned seller. I can't remember the name. What's the term for it, Monkey? You always help me with these things. They're forcing the seller basically at like 2/10,000ths by short hedge funds, and they just have a boatload of shares. It is definitely a sub penny stock, but they're hoping, I think, to become a more legit stock with this NFT deal they did. But all it did was just give it a little pop and then went right back down again. That's all I know about Black Dragon. It was a curiosity play on my part that went up, went back down to where I bought it, and nothing's happened ever since. Okay. Project Sen, Putin's bodyguard salaries are high. I bet they are. But like, you know, if you're Putin's bodyguard and you got a really high salary, at what point is it like, all right, I made enough, I'm out of this now? It's like trying to leave the cartel. They just don't let you. So it's a self-regulating system that way. Jay, you think Putin is richer than Elon Musk? Putin is way wealthier than Elon Musk. Putin was worth $200 billion 8 years ago. Elon Musk 8 years ago was worth like $4 billion. So Putin has I bet Putin, you know, if you were to find all the little investments around the world, I bet he's a trillionaire or close to it. Okay. Is Elon Musk richer than Queen Elizabeth? Now, trying to estimate the Queen's wealth is quite interesting because, like, just the crown lands in Canada. How much are crown lands worth? I mean, they got like 2 million square miles. Forbes estimated the Queen's personal net worth to be 500 million, while the combined value of the British monarch's holdings in Crown Estate, Duchy of Lancaster, are worth 25 billion. Okay. Crown land worth Canada. 89% of Canada's land is crown land. 41% is federal crown, 48% provincial crown. So basically, the Queen owns 86% of Canada. So that 3 million square miles. So basically, the size of the United States is land owned by the Crown of England. The United States is 3.5 million square miles. Crown land in Canada is 3.4 million square miles. So there you go. So let's just say most of it's useless, right? Let's go to the calculator. Turn off the Chrome. We'll go to the calculator here. Okay, got 3.5 million square miles. I'm gonna do this in English units because that's 3.4 million square miles. Oops, back one. There's 620 acres. Sorry, 620 acres per. All right. Shit. Wait. 160 4. 640. Sorry, 640 acres per square mile. I knew it was in there somewhere. So that's 2,176,000 acres, right? If that land sells for $1,000 an acre, just on average, you add 3 zeros to that sucker, you are at $2,176 billion US dollars in just crown land in Canada. And that does not count all the land that has mineral value in it, because there's a lot of crown land that has gold, silver, nickel, zinc, diamonds, you name it. So that's just the land value at $1,000 an acre. So $100 an acre, call it 200 billion, right? So yeah, the royal family is worth a boatload, and the Queen currently is the CEO of the royal family for who knows how much longer. I mean, she may be dead already, and they're just kind of weakened at Bernie's-ing her. Yeah, that is a ridiculous amount of wealth for one family to control. That's just land in Canada. They have crown land in Australia and New Zealand and other places that were parts of the Commonwealth. So, yeah, I would put the royal family at technically the wealthiest family in the entire world. That's ridiculous to think about. Absolutely redonkulous. Okay, but Putin, just in more liquid asset wealth, is probably worth $1 trillion, hundreds of billions to $1 trillion. Okay. Oh, yeah, I was talking about Elon Musk challenging Putin to a fight. Elon, not a small dude, but Putin is like a judo champion and a taekwondo champion, and I bet has physically killed people with his bare hands. Elon did have an incredibly abusive psychopathic father, so I'm sure he took punches to the face at times. And Elon himself has been said to be an abusive spouse. So, there's been scrapping that's gone on there. But even though Putin's smaller and older, I think he actually has skills. So, I think that would wipe out the size advantage of Elon Musk. And Elon's kind of awkward dude. I don't see him having much hand-eye coordination there. I picture Putin having drowned people before, choked them out, shot them, knifed them. I bet there's just bodies that Putin has just for the fun of it. It's probably an entire field full of people Putin has murdered just for the heck of it, Vlad the Impaler style. Okay. Hey Houston, why would GME release a dividend in their growth phase? As far as I know, companies in their growth phase usually don't do that. Because they can. I mean, GameStop is a company that's existed for, 30-something years? They are in a growth phase now, but they have a very, very, very small float. They got $1.5 billion in cash on hand. They can easily give out a cash dividend, and it would not affect their bottom line in any way, and would put a little pressure, a little nudge on short hedge funds. They can also issue an NFT dividend, which would cost them essentially the minting fees, minting and transaction fees to do that. And that would be significantly smaller than trying to give out a monetary dividend. Then it would screw the shorts over the same way that Overstock did 2 years ago. So why would they do it? To mess with the short hedge funds. That's exactly why they would do it. Because they can. Right? Because they can. Most companies that don't offer dividends during their growth phase are companies that have not existed for 30 years. They're brand new. They're startups. Things like that. Okay, 7:17. I got 13 minutes before I've got to head back and take over watching my mom for everybody. And what did I do? Oh, that's right there. Okay. Okay. Julianne, is it not illegal to melt, destroy, or modify any U.S. coins in the United States? If it was, all those penny smashing machines that you see at tourist traps around the U.S. would be illegal, and they're perfectly legal. You smash those pennies and they put like an imprint of the Liberty Bell or something on there. Those things are legal. So I don't think you can get busted for it. B2B brand, Houston, spend a few dollars for a cover on the keyboard so people with cats have them. I know, it should be like a piano cover. I'm going to lift it up and type out a concerto and then pop it right back down again. But as long as he's enjoying chewing on that bone over there and the sound isn't bothering you guys, then he's not going to be opening up any new windows for me. Okay. Sitting bull, my dog just reacted to that dog. Daphne wants to mine Herkimer diamonds. Herkimer diamonds are really cool. If you can find on the internet Cash and Treasures with Kirsten Gum. There's another lady hosted for like 6 months before Kirsten Gum hosted. The show lasted, I think, 3 seasons. But it's really cool to see her go to different mineral deposits around North America especially and seeing what cool stuff. There's a great episode of her going to get Herkimer diamonds and how those are mined out. I recommend it. I thought it was a beautiful little show. She was a little bit too naive. I would have preferred if somebody was like a geologist and gave a little bit better explanations of these things. But usually she's interviewing somebody who's an expert or owns the mine or something like that, and they kind of explain a little bit of the geologic process, how they're mined, famous stones have been found, stuff like that. It's very short. Like, I think it could have been an hour long, and it could have been a little bit more in depth, which is what my show that I created was about. That kept getting sold, and then calamity ensues, and then nothing happens. But get your rocks off of Houston. One of these days, get your rocks off of Houston. It's going to be on Discovery or Amazon or something. Just somebody needs to just make this damn show. Okay. Oh, there's somebody talking about the souvenir machines. Isla's claiming. Yeah. Okay. Daphne, I want to borrow Snoopy's. I have a nice big dog to walk in San Francisco. You say that. He is a total sweetheart, but you put him on a leash, and all of a sudden, he freaks out if he sees another dog. And it becomes this, like, murder machine. Off the leash, he's, like, totally fine. He's got total leash aggression. And I don't know if that has anything to do with him being one of those, like, guard dogs for herds of sheep or something. But, man, I've taken him into town a couple of times so far, and it is uncontrollable just how much he freaks out when he sees another dog. Big dog, little dog, doesn't matter. He just freaks the flip out. And yeah. Alternative assist 492. If we buy MMTLP tomorrow for $1.69, the dividend will still be paid for it. Correct. Yes. If you own a dividend share, that's what should receive the dividend. Okay. Second shift, are we sure the person with the anti-war sign on Russian TV wasn't a Russian plant? Several Ukrainian accounts are not buying it, saying all their news is pre-recorded, so it never happened without an okay. Very possible. She only got like a 50,000 ruble fine and then was released. None of those other folks are getting that. They're getting detained and squirreled away for a long time if they're protesting. So, but maybe because she's a little more famous. I don't know. Seems a little questionable for sure. Okay. Eric Allison, when tomorrow GME earnings are a nothing burger, will you stop bad-mouthing AMC? I mean, GME earnings are going to show a profit because it's Christmas time, and that's what happens. That's a retail business like this. They make all their money at Christmas. GME is going to be green. They'll show a profit per share. I'm not sure during the earnings call if they're going to make any new announcements other than just go over what they had. But the GME call is going to be fine. It's going to be green. It's going to be more green than the AMC call was, which they still posted losses for the quarter, which I thought they're going to be green then. But like, it's not hard to badmouth AMC when the board sucks as much as they do. Quit sucking, and I won't talk shit about you. That's as simple as that. You gotta call it like you see it, and it's not a religion, man. Like, these aren't deities who can't be questioned. They're human beings with memberships to golf clubs. They operate in a different sphere than you or I operate at, and their loyalties are to different people than yours and my loyalties are to. They're supposed to be loyal to the shareholder. They have not demonstrated that they're loyal to the shareholders in this case. So, yeah. There you go. Hey, big dog. Sitting Bull, he'll live to 175, so he needs 100 years of money, right? Pretty much, yeah. Sitting Bull talking about inside job HYMC. It does seem rather weird that a lot of insiders apparently bought in. I can't see Morant's rants because Morant's rants went weird on me the other day or a couple months ago, and then blocked me. So I don't see what Morant's rants has to say about lots of things. No, you're taking the place of the big dog. You're just going to sit there and stare at me. You know that it's only 5 minutes left in the show and that you're going to go potty soon, don't you? That's what it is. That's why you're staring at me. Yes, there's a monkey nose. You can see the monkey nose right here. It doesn't quite, not quite as tall as the the big dog. Okay. Bum, bum, bum. Okay. Patrick Squires, metals commodities markets require lots of short paper to hedge handling risk for metal to fall in value while in holding between the ground to mine and end market consumption. Very true. Metals can be very volatile depending on technologies, market conditions, whether mines play out, conflicts in nations where a lot of minerals are exploited. A lot of minerals are exploited in very volatile political environments. Just think, South America, Africa, Russia. So there's a lot of volatility that can happen with these minerals. And some minerals, maybe not necessarily nickel, but there's rare earths and coltan and tin, which are exploited in one region only and can't be found anywhere else. And, if some instability happens, it can just absolutely explode the market one way or the other. If Utah all of a sudden had a civil war, you might see beryllium prices go through the roof because all the beryllium comes from one location in Utah. There can be weird volatility that happens with metals markets just because of, there's only one place you can mine this stuff. Liz Clayman's whistle. Houston, why aren't there any stars visible when pictures are taken from the moon? There are stars visible in some of the moon pictures. Problem is that when folks were on the moon was when the sun was on that part of the moon. So it kind of washes out. The lunar surface has an albedo, or reflection rate, of 92%, meaning 92% of the light that hits the moon's surface reflects back into outer space. So when the side of the moon that you're on is lit up, it's going to be a hard time for the focal aperture of any camera to record stars at that point. Just like you can't see stars in the daytime here, it's washed out by the Rayleigh scattering of the Earth's atmosphere. So, but if you want to see stars on the moon, either do a longer exposure or while not having the moon's surface in view, or be on a side where the sun is not currently shining. But when we send folks to the moon, we sent them when it was sunny so they could take pictures and see things. And it's, I think, easier and more energy efficient to try and cool off the folks that are in the sunshine on the moon than it is to have them on the dark side of the moon, try to keep them warm and out of radio contact, which also sucks if that were to happen also. Okay, what's happening with Hayden J Real Estate? I've seen lots of things deleted there. But I don't know why it's getting deleted. But if it's bad, thank you for taking care of it. Okay. Christopher S. I hold option calls for VIX, and 2 days ago I wanted to buy common shares, and Fidelity told me it was restricted to buy, I could only sell. Yeah, VIX is a volatility index, and it was too volatile, they stopped trading, which is a sign that bad stuff is coming, would be my guess. That if the volatility index is too volatile, yeah. So, there you go. Okay, I got a minute. Let's see if there's one more. I'm gonna scroll down here, try to find one good one here. Okay. David Allen Grove, I wonder why AMC doesn't promote their streaming services. AMC has streaming services? AMC Plus, only the good stuff. Is this... Wait, is this AMC the movie theater or AMC the television network? I think it's AMC the television network that's doing the streaming, not the movie theater, which would be AMC X. Is there called? Yeah, this is AMC the television network, where Walking Dead and stuff is. So I think that's why you don't see AMC promoting their streaming network, is because it's a different AMC entirely. There's AMC the movie theater. There's AMC X the television network. That's like The Walking Dead and Killing Eve and things like that. So that's why. Two different companies. But AMC X keeps popping. Whenever regular AMC pops, AMC X pops also, because people search wrong and then end up buying the wrong stock. So, yeah. Okay. Milky Butt? Big dog? Come here. Everyone come here. Come on up. Come on, big dog. Come on. There we go. Everybody's here. Time to say bye-bye. I don't think I'll have a chance to go on during the stream tomorrow, the earnings call tomorrow. So we'll do. Friday might be an after dark show, late after dark show. Guys, it might be from my mom's house. My laptop's being really weird. It's a touchscreen laptop, and for some reason the screen thinks everything's being touched all the time, and it won't let me log in. And it's just, I gotta figure out how to get in there so I can turn off the touchscreen driver and use my computer. So yeah, there we go. That's it, big dog. We're gonna head out. I'll see you guys Friday. Hope we get good news of that earnings call tomorrow. Right? Woohoo! Okay, later, skaters. Bam.